Welcome back. I have my favorite forager with me today, Rachel West from the Ozarks. How are you?
Good.
Favorite forager.
Favorite.
Yes. What did you bring me?
Oh my gosh, it is berry. It's almost full berry season. Pawpaws are about a week off here where we are.
You know I
You're
love
coming.
those.
Yeah, for
yes,
sure.
yes.
And so grapes, I've got some wild plums and
Wait,
some
those are
feral
plums?
cherries. So
But
these,
they're so little.
I know. So those are one of our Missouri wild plums. They grow here in
Do they get bigger
our
than that,
region.
or is
No,
that?
that's right.
Are they sour?
So they only have one little
They have a little pit, little bitty one.
pit
Okay.
on the inside.
So.
It should be pretty sweet. They're
Oh wow.
same texture and flavor as a regular plum. They're just little.
Wow.
And so these you can do blanched. You can.
Oh, there's a
Here,
bite
you
of
can stick 'em here
sour.
on my little-
It's kind of followed with a little sour.
So I'm planning on doing
Wow.
a sour like a cherry pie. You can bring them all to a simmer and then mash them through a
Okay, so these are
sieve.
wild cherries?
So well, these are some feral cherries.
Feral, that means wild, right?
That means wild that a bird pooped out. We have domesticated fruits here in the Ozark where people will
You
plant.
never know what she's gonna say.
So these are sour. They're not as sweet as our domesticated cherries that we get at the grocery store, but they are a domesticated variety, right?
Makes you pucker.
Like not as bad as a persimmon.
No, but I like it.
So what I'll do with those is jelly, because the sugar will naturally equalize.
So will you add a ton of sugar to anything you make with this?
Well, you can follow a cherry jelly recipe or a grape recipe with them. I also love to cover them in brandy.
Oh.
And it preserves them, and then you can bake them off later after straining them.
Bake
like
them
a brandy
in a pie?
cherry pie.
Oh, wow, that sounds like really rich
It
compared
is.
to a normal cherry pie.
And then I had a lovely neighbor called me, and she was like, hey, all of the grapevines are going crazy here. So the kids and I loaded up, and we headed to Fordland today. And as you guys can see, the grapes, when they come on, now when they're not a domesticated variety, they're not always going to ripen at the same exact time.
Well, that makes it
And
tricky
so,
to pick. So the
what I
green
do,
ones aren't done yet then, right?
right, they're going to be really sour and hard. You can even feel them with your hand. But these that are like this, you can
The dark blue.
lick
What
that
about the
juice. They
purple
taste
one?
like Welch's. The natural yeast that you see on the outside is where you get our, so if you mash grapes with their natural sugars and this yeast, you will end up with a fermentation of some kind. So that's where grape wine, it's got a nice seed on the inside.
Yeah.
So what I'll do
That's
is
safe to eat, right? Because I just ate it.
100%. Okay. The kids and I will separate all of these out this evening, and the Italians have something called verjuice, which is green grape juice, which is like lemon. So I'm gonna juice all of the green for a sour lemon juice and turn it into a curd, how I do with the other.
You always blow my mind every time you're on here. You know, the blue one, it reminds me of grapes my grandpa grew long time ago. And it's like, why don't all grapes taste like that? Have they just been so modified?
I think that they've been modified
like
not
a
only to
thinner
ripen at the
skin?
same time, the thinner skin,
No
and then also
seeds.
producing a smaller seed and a lot more sugar.
Oh,
And so these taste similar to a Welch's, or if you've ever
really
had that Welch's
does.
grape juice, and it's just that old-timey
Yeah.
feeling. And so you can take these. The best way, if you guys end up finding wild grapes, is to cover them just a little bit of water in a skillet, bring them to a simmer, and then through a sieve or even just any type of, I'm trying to think of what the other, like a colander, like a fine
Yeah, just to strain it out.
strainer. You can just mash that through, and you can put a cheesecloth if you don't have a sieve.
Okay.
And it'll gather all those seeds, and you can just squeeze, and then all of your grape pectin will come out. And you'll end up with a wild jelly that way.
Oh, that's
And
incredible.
you can even mix it with a little bit of honey
Yeah.
and put it in the refrigerator and not even have to process it very much
Wow.
further.
Now, you always use everything. Do you use the leaves and the stems on this? It would not
I won't
surprise me.
use the stems on these, but the leaves are a little bit far gone.
Oh, you can
any
make
of our
those,
grape leaves, though.
dolmas?
Yes, you
Yes.
can do a dolma by blanching any wild grape leaf.
You have to blanch
and
it first just to kind of make it more tenderized?
Correct.
Okay.
So, and it'll also help with some of the bitterness.
I
But
love a
that
good dolma.
white on the underside that you see, just like you see covering here, is that wild yeast. And so you'll even notice that they're found on our plums.
I see.
A little less on the grapes.
Yeah.
But any of this could be mixed together and made into not just cocktails, but juices, jellies, anything.
All right, how do we find you online, Rachel?
Eatingtheozarks.com.
Do you have any events coming up on there?
I have September 9th through 11th, I have a primitive skills class that we're going to be doing shelter, doing all kinds of wild food, and I've got Mark Berger coming out for music, so it'll be a great
This girl is the girl to learn from. She has so much knowledge on this. Thank you so much, Rachel. Always appreciate you.